Hello, my name is Alicia Jackson, licensed professional counselor. Welcome to my channel as we are reviewing Married at First Sight. And we are at episode 3. I believe this is what, season 14? Oh my goodness. So let's get into it, of course, So please like the video and also subscribe to my channel. I review Married at First Sight, relationship shows, documentaries, and also provide mental health information from a centered place. So let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Noi and Steve, and they're getting married, and they are so cute together. They are their spirits and their families kind of connect naturally. I thought it was such a cute notion for him to offer her a ring pop at the during the ceremony. It kind of matched her energy. So this is really promising. I do feel, though, that Noi is a little bit more concerned about him not having a job than she's communicating to him in this moment. But I do have faith in him that he's going to make this work. He's going to get a job. Because no romance without finance. That is just the name of the game. Okay, but it's really refreshing to see how Steve, it reflected in his vows, but you also see it, he spoke about it with Noi after the ceremony, how he stated like he doesn't have any expectations. Now, of course, I do feel that he has have some expectations, but what I guess I see different from most of the couples that I have seen that go through this process put on a lot of expectations on their partner. And so it's great that he is able to verbalize it in a way that he's just open to see what will come and what will arise. And his vows are very grounded, just saying that he's going to come to this situation with an open heart and an open mind. So really great to see. And even as they were, approaching physical intimacy, just him saying like, I'm going to take this slow. We're not going to have sex the first night. I really would just want to make sure that we have a great connection and we get to know each other. And I think, I think that's so important, especially for a experiment of this nature. I think the foundation of intimacy it doesn't start with sex. It truly doesn't start with sex. It's emotional safety. It is kind of knowing that your partner accepts you and all of who you are, so that you can give of yourself physically and not feel anxiety or uncertainty after you've done so. So I'm really excited about Noi and Steve. I did see that her brother was trying to encourage him to be more forward with the physical intimacy, and said that if he doesn't go after her, somebody else will. I said, oh man, okay. I don't know what that's about. Maybe his lifestyle. I don't know. Or projecting that. I don't know if he believes that Noi may stray. I just don't get that sense from her. She is truly dedicated to this. She might surprise me. She might, but I really see that she's truly dedicated to this process and being transparent and upfront with Steve. So I am team Noi Moy and Steve Moy for sure. Next, I'm gonna skip. I know that we next in the episode, Chris and Alyssa get married, but I'm gonna skip them for a minute because they're a lot to handle. And I'm gonna go to Mark and Lindsay. Mark and Lindsay, they are showing them, at the reception, because at this point in the episode, all of the couples have gotten married, and so Mark is kind of getting a sense of Lindsay's dynamic personality, and he's stating that he feels like he has to pull the love out of her. And that wording can sound at first it kind of hit me like, ooh, I don't know about that, but I understand what he's saying. So he's saying that he feels like he can warm up to her and get her to show her softer side. I do believe that because of, again, her mother's rejection of her, that Lindsay is going to have some pretty big walls up for him to get past. What I do believe in is Mark's tenacity to make sure that Lindsay feels comfortable. The part that makes me a little concerned is that, Lindsay does say whatever is on her mind, and Mark is a tender soul. So I imagine that some of her words, while they are very sharp, might really truly hurt Mark, and that might influence how he shows up in this relationship. It was really nice a great moment and a touching moment was when Mark met Lindsay's father and her brother, and he said that he doesn't have a dad, and he said, well, and I don't have a brother or sister, and his brother's like, well, you have one now. It just was a very touching moment to see them being warm and accepting, and Mark did talk about their shared difficult relationships with their mother. While they're different, they're still difficult, and finding a way to bond and connect with each other via that. So we shall see. She did state that she wasn't going to be physically intimate with Mark on the wedding night, and that they were just going to cuddle and get to know each other. I feel like that is definitely for this experiment recommended. That's my clinical recommendation, but I know people do otherwise, and that's also okay for them if they feel comfortable. I think for me, and the reason why I make that recommendation is that they are just getting to know each other. And while I talked about intimacy earlier with Noy and Steve, also what's so important too is establishing boundaries. And you're meeting new people, and sexual boundaries is a thing. It's a real thing, and they need to be communicated. We need to have more open discussion about sexual boundaries. You don't know what people have gone through and what people have experienced, and not discussing that could lead to possible being re-triggered or re-traumatized because they have not discussed sexual boundaries. So I recommend it for sure, but we'll just keep moving forward and see how these couples go. Next, I want to talk about Elijahuan and Katina. And, Elijahuan and Katina, what I see from Elijahuan is he is making a lot of assumptions and has a lot of expectations of Katina. She's also making some assumptions too from him, that he is committed, but his words and his passion are definitely convincing. So I understand why she's making that assumption. He said that he feels loyalty coming from her lips. I think he's just really excited about kissing her, and he's excited about this marriage. I feel like he feels, because he stated that he feels like all of his sins have been forgiven. Like he feels like this means that I'm a new person. I'm married now, so I'm new. I'm no longer Isaac. This whole situation makes me a new person, and that's not necessarily the case. As the relationship and the marriage continues to unfold, the individual choices you make, that is what makes you a different person. Not this ceremony and seeing her in her gown and seeing, you wearing the tux and picking her up and all of that. The feelings are great, but the feelings fade. And so you have to stay committed past the feelings. So we'll see. We shall see. I'm concerned about if Katina might have a strong reaction to his past and how he may respond to that. If he will feel judged or feel like he is, she's going to put him back as that same person. So in his mind, I've had this wedding, and now it's like I'm in a transformation chamber, and I'm now this new Olajuwon, the husband. And Katina hears of his past, and she then views him as Isaac. And so then he has this internal struggle and possible, anger or hurt from her because she's viewing him in this light because of his past and her past of being cheated on multiple times. Okay. But yes, he still has some strong expectations about her cooking. That conversation was very awkward. He said that he could cook, but then he was like, "Can you cook?" And she was like, So I think he still has some very strong expectations. He's trying to minimize them because she's pretty, and I think that he is trying to have sex, as he mentioned multiple times. That he's like trying to show off his muscles. He pulled up his shirt during the reception. Like, he is very. He's sending all the signals. Anything you want, sweetheart. Yeah, you can put this cake on my face, no matter what, as long as we do what we need to do tonight. It's like he he is very much sexually charged, and so I think he still has some expectations about her cooking. I'm hoping that she can be a quick learner, or that she's willing to. That's the biggest part, that she's willing to learn to cook, or they have a compromise about it. And there might be some bumps, there might be some things along the way, to getting to that compromise, and that's a part of marriage, and that's okay. But hoping that she can get there. Now, these friends and Olajuwon's friend and brother. Oh my. So Katina sits down. She's like, is there any quirks or any bad quirks that I should be aware about? Now, Elijahuan's friend, I think his name was Jeff, I think he gave her some true and important advice. Saying that if you were explaining something to him, you're going to have to tell him multiple times, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, because he's going to be a little resistant. So he's saying that he's rigid. That's really what I'm hearing. And that he's going to need some time to help process the information and to then be able to be more flexible. Now, his brother said that he's going to try to mold her to be the type of wife that he wants her to be. That was a bit alarming. That, for me, that's a lot. And I imagine that for Katina, that was kind of, a red flag and something that she's mulling over. Like, is this true? Is this just the brother's view of him, or is this really him? I do feel, though, that there is some truth in that brother's statement. But I see where he's trying. He is trying. When he's meeting her mother, I see where he's being very upfront and honest. However, I do feel like it is too much too soon. He did disclose that he does have ADHD, which was something I was speculating. And, of course, I don't know Elijahuan, so I don't know him enough to diagnose him. But a lot of the characteristics that I was seeing was pretty spot on for that. Him being impulsive, him being hyperverbal is what we would classify it. He's very, very talkative, and they have the editing team make sure they show the time lapse. Her mother was, she was not kind. So I get her asking, what are your expectations with my daughter? And at the same time, like, it's not the first date, they're married. Like, so I think it's less about you and your approval of him because they're already married. It's more about you getting to know him and learning to really welcome him into the family. Beverly, which is Katina's mom, she did not give welcoming vibes at all. I thought it was very mean that he says, yeah, I get easily distracted. And she said, what is that, a rabbit? And then she left the table. I feel like she could have definitely said, Olajuwon, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for sharing. It was nice meeting you. But, you talk a lot. I'm going to peace out. I feel like Olajuwon definitely is self-aware to know enough to know that he talks a lot. So she could have said that. But in the moment, she used that to get up off that was not okay. So that was my concern. It was cute to see, him, get her, help get her ready. They did every show they do this, or every season they do this with the him taking down or unzipping her dress all that wonderful stuff. I do see where he is definitely trying to consummate the marriage. We'll see if Katina holds up to her end of the bargain. I feel like she potentially could be putting on for the cameras just a little bit too, because she's worried about her mother, as her friends were being themselves, free, and exploring their sexuality and encouraging Katina to do the same. And she said, "Oh, sorry, Mom." So I think that that's possibly what's happening on camera, but we'll see if Katina holds up to her bargain of saying that she's going to hold off for a whole month. We shall see. So next we have Jasmina and Michael. Jasmina and Michael, they had their reception, of course, and we see where Michael is pretty reserved. He's pretty reserved. Jasmina is a really big personality. They're clinging on the glasses to make them kiss. She's got the fake leaves they're trying to put up as a mistletoe, and he's just sitting back, and he's got the gum in his mouth. He takes it out, but I'm like, he's never seen the movie The Wood. You're supposed to have a Tic Tac in your mouth to not gum, because then you gotta take the gum out. That's clean. It was a whole thing. But anyway, he did, and she was like, "You don't want to kiss me? Oh, that's crazy." So I do see where she's just got a really big personality. He's really more reserved and quiet. So it's like a lot of his personality hasn't came out yet. So I'm really, and then we come to find out his work schedule, which really makes me concerned, because Jasmina needs to know, and I think this is what her mother was getting to when she was talking to Michael about the need for vulnerability and how that's so important. The stepfather was saying things that I don't agree with, but he was so focused on his schedule. But his stepmother, when she spoke to him, was saying that she's going to need a lot of vulnerability, because she needs that reassurance that you're in this. You're going to choose me, because my dad didn't choose me, my mom didn't choose me. I need you to choose me. Now, is that his responsibility to fix that? Absolutely not. But is that something that he needs to be aware of, and then as her husband choose her? Yes. So I think that he's going to have to do some restructuring in his work schedule, because it sounds like he's an entrepreneur. I can't recall what he does professionally, but he's going to have to do some readjustment, just because, and this goes, Jasmina's trauma aside, any marriage, any relationship needs time and energy to build. You married somebody off the street, basically, a stranger. Some experts said, marry this person off the street. And they don't know anything about each other. Jasmina needs to have time. Just because of who she is and what she's been through, she definitely needs to see. She needs to see that Michael is in this, and that job schedule of 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. and they're working on the weekends as well. That is going to be a barrier. That's going to be a barrier in their relationship. So I would definitely recommend that he try to find something to really connect. But it was nice to see them snuggled and cuddled up in the bed. He was saying that he's open to physical intimacy. I don't see Jasmina being fully ready for that as of yet. I feel that Michael has some walls up, and so he may need to get some support from his sisters, because, man, I kind of jumped this. Going back to the reception, their beautiful offering of the breast cancer awareness pin, as honoring their mother and giving that to her because she's now part of the family. That was so beautiful. Jasmina needs that. She needs that. That probably just warmed her soul to truly be accepted into their family. I feel like she's going to want to keep the sisters if she doesn't keep Michael. So I am excited to see how this unfolds for them. But definitely excited about the sisters offering that warm reception to her. And it truly, truly was great to see that. Now, what was not great to see was Alyssa and Chris. So let's go back to the beginning. So they are getting married. And, so I guess what was great was seeing how he offered a gift, to her, because nobody else did this season. Nobody did the gift before the ceremony, and he wrote her a beautiful letter, and it made her cry. So he was like, "Oh my God, he's nice. That's so great that I know that about him before walking down the aisle." But she overemphasized, or at least production made us feel that she was overemphasizing, her need for to be physically attracted and connected with him. And I said, oh boy. Now, I feel like Chris is so focused. It's almost like he's in a real estate agent kind of mind. Like, he's so focused on making sure she's happy, like that he presents himself, like he sells himself in the best light so that she will buy the house, like so she will take him. Not as concerned about his needs being met. I don't see where he is concerned about getting what he wants out of this. And with her being such a particular person, I'm concerned about him being activated or triggered by her rejection, her potential rejection, as we see later down in the episode. So she's not very flexible at all, and so like she's trying to present this way that she's open, but her 10 wedding dresses gave her away for sure. So he likes the fact that she's so blunt, and I think the reason why he likes that is because he's like, oh, okay, then I'll know exactly what to do to fill this order. I'll know exactly what I need to do to make her happy. And that is concerning. That's really concerning. Now, production is, they think they slick. So production was very petty, in my opinion, because they're like showing Chris's teeth as she's talking about how, dental hygiene is so important to her because she takes care of her teeth very well. And then as they're reading the family's letter to Chris, during the ceremony, talking about how she's a straight shooter and she pretty much keeps her expressions on her face, and then they're showing her facial expressions as they're reading it. I was just like, okay. But I feel like definitely Chris's friends put him in the hot seat. Oh my goodness. Saying that he is condescending and that he will try to teach her things, and that he tends to do monologues and to just either change the subject or act like you're interested. I feel like in a situation like this where you're meeting the person, at the altar, lead with the strengths. Especially for Alyssa, because she is super, super picky. So as we saw, that was something she just fixated on. And it was almost like she was talking to the producers behind the scenes to say, this isn't what I ordered. Can I get something else? Kind of thing. Like, this isn't, I said I wanted, these qualifications. You didn't give me what I wanted. So give me another husband and another wedding tomorrow. It was kind of that energy. And so, yeah, I'm a little saddened that his friends did that. His mom, though, she tried to be very sweet and very kind, and saying that that she is a sweet person, and that she liked him. So I don't know if where like is like oh, this was fun, or if she really likes him, because I mean we saw a huge reaction at the end of the episode that said otherwise, like she doesn't feel comfortable even staying in the same room with him, which I feel like isn't the best decision for their marriage. And then Chris was asking, okay, so if she has a bad day, what do I do? And she said, well, just leave her alone because she's gonna, she needs time to rant and rave. And I said, oh boy, because that sounds like almost like a temper tantrum type of behavior. So I don't know if that's what she's referring to, but that made me kind of wonder what that meant. And if Chris and how Chris is going to manage that with his kind of people pleasing, part where he is very focused on making sure everyone is happy. And Alyssa is not happy. She, states that those things that his friend said made her very uncomfortable and made her very nervous. And he received it, and of course was very accommodating and apologized for it, and even offered additional information if she needed it. She didn't want that, and I'm assuming they slept in separate rooms. So we shall see how this unfolds. I am very concerned about this match. I do not believe, I don't want to speak negativity, but it's already happened. So I don't know if that's the case or not, but I don't know if they're going to make it through the whole season. I'm hoping that she is able to relax her expectations, to accept Chris. He is quirky. Like, that is a thing. I think he knows that, so that's why he tries to like massage his, I believe he tries to like massage his personality so that others will be more receptive to him. And so I get that. And at the same time, I don't see where she's gonna massage herself. So that is my concern, and I'm also concerned that his needs just won't get met, and then this will be just like another monogamous relationship that he goes through, where if she does bend a little bit, that he will go through the relationship and then say, I'm not getting my needs met, and this isn't what I wanted, and then end it. So that is that. We will continue on watching Married at First Sight. And thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and see you next week. Take care.